What's up, you taco monkeys? I'm sure you've seen this little icon that's been tempting you over and over and over again. Man, I need runes, man, I need runes, man, I need runes! I need runes. You click on it and you're like, oh, it's only $30, I get some good runes. Are they gonna be good? Are they gonna be good? Well, they could be good. They could also be garbage. And anything in between, really. Anything in between. So we got $30 for a rune pack, right? You get the 750, you get the 50,000, and you get the 50 energy right here. But you get some runes. Well, if you're gonna buy the package, what runes should you buy? Look at all these options. All these options. What should you pick? Well, I took the time to. Yeah, I took 40 years to develop a list. No, I have a little list that I like to go by in terms of what runes are going to be more valuable and why if you're looking to buy one of these rune packages. All right, so you ready for the list? And then we'll buy a package and then we'll see what's in it. All right, so here's the list. Okay, so I have the 4-star runes here, and I have the 4-star runes. I have the 4 set runes here, and then I have the 2 set runes here. Okay, so let's go over the list. So I ranked. Actually, Vampire is in its completely own kind of list. Why is Vampire on its own list? Because Vampire, while it's could be like the #1 thing that you want if you're early game, if you're like level 20 and you're like, I really want to get a rune package, may as well, I need some good runes. Vampire might be the best thing for you, because that might help you with your farmer just get a whole lot more value for your money. Whereas if you are super endgame, you're like, what am I gonna put Vampire on? I have all these other Vampire runes, I have nothing to put Vampire on. I need a nuke thing, I need a swift thing, I need I need Violent for my arena defense. And you're like, what am I gonna put Vampire on? So, while it has a lot of value, it really changes place depending on where you are in the game. While it's got a lot of value early game, it doesn't have as much value late game, in my opinion. Some people are like, no, Jubega, I love this. And there's some monsters that are really good with Vampire. There's some monsters also in different combinations that are really good with Vampire. So, it does, and you can solo some crazy stuff with Vampire runes. So, while early game it could be very powerful, late game it loses some of its power because you have a dedicated healer in your group, and you have dedicated attackers. You're either going for full nuke and you don't care if you heal some because you're going for a one shot kill, or you're going for a sustain and you have like, oh, I have a Chasoon, I have a Bella, I have maybe you got lucky and you got an Ariel, so you don't really need the Vampire as much for late game. Alright, so aside from Vampire being like on its own weird thing, #1 is Violent. Okay, so Violent, why? Because why? Why is Violent #1? Well, Violent's #1 because Violent is probably the most flexible rune set. You can do Violent attackers, you can do Violent defense monsters, you can do Violent, you can do so many monsters are like, oh yeah, do this Violent blah blah blah, Violent Will, Violent Blade, Violent Focus, Violent whatever it is, Violent Nemesis, Violent Revenge. It's so extremely flexible that you can put Violent on almost anyone. Plus, usually they usually just need so many Violent runes in general for so many monsters that you want to build. Violent's got to be #1. I also rank these a little bit higher for the monsters, for the runes you get from Necropolis, and lower for the runes that you get from Giants. So, because Necropolis is usually harder to farm. Giants is usually the first thing that you get that you can complete B10 of. So, it's usually easier to get more Fatal runes, more Guard runes, more Energy runes. You start picking those up early in the game, and then you pick up less of the things like Will runes, okay, Nemesis, things like that. So Violent is kind of in the middle. It's Dragon's B10 drop. What's next? Rage. So hard to get some of these. I still have trouble getting Rage runes. Rage is dropped from Necropolis. So it used to be dropped from, what do you used to be dropped from? Dragons? I'm pretty sure it was man, it's been so long. It's been so long I forgot. But now that Rage Runes is dropped from Necropolis, it might be harder for some players to get them. If you're earlier game, I think I would go for Fatal more than Rage, but you get a set of decent Fatal runes anyway. When you start the game, you can choose, right? You can choose. It's been so long since that too. You can choose what you get, but a lot of players choose Fatal, so usually they don't really need too much. Plus, Fatal is dropped from Giants B10. Rage dropped from Necropolis. Much harder to get the Rage runes. Alright, then we have Swift. But Swift is dropped from Giants! What are you talking about? Okay, all these are dropped from Giants, though. So Swift, Despair, Fatal. Despair is very valuable. Despair is great for crowd control monsters. The thing is with Swift, though, in late game, sometimes you win or lose based on Swift. So that could be, having great Swift runes could be the game changer. Lower level, or early game if you're in like Fighter, if you're in like the beginning of Conqueror, stuff like that, or lower than that even, Despair might be way more valuable for you because you get that extra value from the stuns. Despair runes are worth more, but I think later game, Swift is going to give you... It could be the difference between winning or losing. If you have that faster Chloe that's faster than your opponent's Bernard, if you have that Bernard that's faster than your opponent's Chloe, you could get a turn, and you could have your nukers go before they can put up the shield, etc., etc. If you don't have a debuffer, a lot of people have debuffers too, and debuffers a lot of times have Despair on them as well. So there's that. Then Fatal is down at the bottom of the list. I think Fatal is at the bottom of the list just because it's easier to get. Rage, another thing for Rage, is Rage doesn't drop from Scenario anymore. So, you need to do Necropolis to get Rage. There's no other way to get Rage, aside from the shop. The magic shop. So, you can't get these from Scenario, but you can get all of these from the magic shop. Even Vampire. So, all these are still available in the magic shop. I'm pointing that out because when we get to the 2 stars... which is now basically. Some of these do not drop from, are not available in the magic shop. Okay, so that's why you guys kind of get the idea why I ranked all these the way that I did. Vampire is not at the top. Vampire is just on its own. It's basically its own list. So I didn't want to. It felt wrong putting it in there, but Swift maybe late game has more value. Despair maybe early game has more value, but Despair you can even argue Despair might be higher. But I think Violent, just you can rune anyone Violent, it works. Okay, so then we have 2 sets. 2 sets. Will number 1. I think 4 sets are more valuable because you need 4 good runes to put on a 4 set. You can kind of fudge on some things. You're like, oh, I'll make Chloe I'll make her Swift and Endure, or you can make her Swift and Will. Depending on what kind of runes you have, you might be able to make her faster if she's on something else and not Will. So I have my Chloe's not on Will. My Bernard, as long as Bernard has a Swift set, it doesn't matter what the other set is, really. It just matters as it has speed. So that's why I think 4 sets are more valuable than 2 sets if you're going to buy these packages. It's just you need more of the 4 set runes. The 4 sets have more value. More value. So we have Will here. Why Will? Well, Will can, you need to run Necropolis for Will. And, of course, not everyone has a really, really good, solid Necropolis team. Some people cannot farm even Necropolis B10. This does not drop in... You can't get 6 stars from 6-star Will runes from Scenario, and you cannot get Will runes from the Magic Shop. That's why I think Will is the best thing for as far as 2 sets. And there's, you see Will and Arena Defense like crazy all the time. And a lot of people's Arena Offense, too, have Will. They just let the other team go first. They have their Will runes, they have their Shield runes, and then bam, bam, bam. Okay, what's next? Revenge. Revenge is high on the list because you can't get Revenge runes from the Magic Shop, and in addition to that, you can put Revenge... Revenge is just very flexible. You can put so many different monsters on Revenge. You can put so many different monsters on Will. I have my Tashar on Will. I have my Galleon on Will. You could, if you get Will HP runes, that works. You can use it on something. If you get will attack runes, you could use it on something. If you get will defense runes, you could use it on something like Veligul maybe, etc., etc. Revenge is another one that's very flexible. All these are more flexible, kind of. Yes and no. Okay. Revenge is very flexible as well. What are we doing? No, I don't want to see ads. Music. So that is Revenge is very flexible. Nemesis, also very flexible, great for healers, great to interrupt monsters on your arena defense. Nemesis is another 2 set of runes that is not easy to come by. You can't just go and keep refreshing the magic shop and be like, oh, Nemesis, yay, GG. So Nemesis, the same reason as Shield. Revenge, Nemesis, and Shield are kind of in their own little element. Kind of all 4 of these are in their own element because they're not as easy to get as other ones. Shield, yeah, you can get it from Dragons B10. You don't even have to have an Acropolis team. And depending on what level of Dragons you're running, your team could be really, really good for 1 level of Dragons, maybe B9. You can just farm the crap out of that. Man, I'm talking so damn much. Blade next. Blade, a lot of arena offense needs Blade. Not even needs it. You can get this from Magic Shop, you can get this from Scenario. A lot of people love using Blade to give you that extra. It's such a small percentage chance of extra crit rate. You don't necessarily need Blade. Like, for example, my Tyrant has Endure on him. Why does he have Endure on him? Because I had better Endure runes than I had Blade runes. And of course, you know, you can't just have every rune in the world and then be like, I pick and choose. I would like this and this and this and this. So I think Blade is good. Blade, Endure, Focus. Endure, the reason Endure gives you better stats than Blade, but Endure isn't always useful. For example, if you have a nuke arena offense, you don't need Endure for anything because you're like, well, if I don't wreck them immediately, it really doesn't help me too much if I have high resistance because they're just gonna be able to crap all over me. So yeah, it does give you better stats than Blade, but you don't always need Endure. Then again, you don't always need Blade either. So I think there's more monsters that are runed for Blade, that people like to rune for Blade than Endure though. But if you argue that Endure is better than Blade, I'm not gonna argue too much with you on that one. Then we have Focus. Another reason for Focus, okay. Monsters like Katarina, monsters like Chloe don't need Focus. Does nothing for them. Katarina, there's no skill that does any debuffs for Katarina. There's no skill that does any debuffs for Chloe. There's no reason they would ever need Focus. So that's why. I mean, it could be really good for monsters like Hua. It could be really good for monsters like those Desert Queens that love to do those debuffs. Focus might be awesome for them. That's why it's not useful for every monster. So then we have, like, it could be just like not useful at all for some monsters. Then we have Destroy. Why Destroy? Destroy is not really, no one uses Destroy. No one uses Destroy. I think there's some monsters that could be good for Destroy, but it's so niche. It's so niche. It's so niche. It's so niche. It's so niche that you don't always need Destroy. It's like once in a blue moon, you're like, man, this would be good with Destroy, and you're like, am I really gonna build a whole team with Destroy? But we'll use it more. We'll use it more. I think there's some monsters that can be really good with Destroy, but it's like, it is what it is. If you get good Destroy runes, you put it on someone, but you don't go like, oh my god, I need to build this Destroy team specifically for this and this. Then what else do we have? We have Energy. Energy and Guard are basically at the bottom because they're so easy to get. You can get them from the Magic Shop. Like, they just crap out everywhere in the Magic Shop, and you're like, oh, okay, I just put Energy on anyone, I put Guard on anyone. They're just so easy to get. The first stage in the game, the first runes you ever get are Energy runes. So when you're like, man, I gotta go buy some runes, Energy is not the first thing that you're thinking of, like, okay, I want to spend money to get these runes that are like super, super easy to get. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to think. I think there'll be a lot of controversy and a lot of people be like, no, I disagree, this should be higher, this should be lower. That's completely valid. Your opinion is completely valid, and you might even sway my opinion too. But I think that generally, this is 4 stars are better to purchase than 2-star sets, than 2-star rune packages, just because you need more of them. I don't really worry too much about the 2 sets on monsters as much as I worry about the 4 sets. Like for example, if I'm runing something, I'm like, oh, this monster needs Rage, and the general build is Rage Blade. I'm like, well, I have these two guard runes that have like these really high crit damage. One has 17% crit damage, the other one has 12% crit damage. That's 29% crit damage. That's way better than a set of Blade that's got 11% crit damage. Sorry, crit rate. That's what I meant, crit rate. I said Rage and I automatically thought crit damage. You know what I mean. Crit rate. If one's got 17% crit rate, the other one's got 12% crit rate. Together, 21% crit rate is way better than the Blade crit rate. So, anyway, oh my god, I talk too much. Let's pick up one of these rune sets. So what did I say was the best value? I said Violent, right? So, let's pick up... Where's Violent? Oh, there's Violent. There's Violent. I'm gonna turn this off so I could show you, so I could not show my information. Guys don't get to know my credit card stuff. What? I know, I'm such a bummer. So we'll pick up this package and we'll see what kind of runes we get. I've already bought, not recently, but I've bought this kind of thing before. Okay. Yay, check the inbox. Alright. So let's check the inbox, let's see what we get. We'll take these, and we'll take these. Alright. What do we get? What kind of runes can we expect to get? We get 5 runes. Oh my god. That's not, for me, that's not even usable. Maybe some of you guys might actually get some use out of that one, but that could be useful. This one's probably the best rune that I got. That's it, baby. Oh my god. Yes, all the mana. Where are these runes that we have to sell now? I didn't get... Oh, no, I apparently I got that beforehand. No, we'll sell them all at the same time. Yes. Do I need that? I'm probably not even going to use that, but I'll keep it anyway for right now. So I got one rune out of that entire thing. Yeah. All right, let's see what this last one, let's see what it rolls. Vount is the most flexible. If you think about this, if I would have done it with a Swift, right? If I would have got the set of Swift runes, defense and crit rate, I would have been like, oh, sell it. Because what am I going to do with it? Swift with no speed on it? What am I going to do? So look at all the defense on that. Where can we use this? What is a monster that is a defense-based monster that needs crit rate and HP? Oh my god. Look at all that defense. Look at that D. It's a fat D right there. This rune's got a fat D. The defense, what did you think I meant? What did you think I meant? I just want to see what else it goes into. We'll just go to 9. Because who even knows how much it's going to take to get to 12? I'm curious. Out of curiosity more than anything else. And then I'm like, who do I put this on? Frankenstein? Golem? Lizard Man? Villajul. Alright. We didn't roll defense again. But anyway, I hope this helps you. Wow, 20 minutes. I gotta shut up some. I gotta shut up some more. So I hope I hope this helps you guys. I'm not ranking the runes in general. I'm just saying what might be better than others to get from these rune packages. So hope you guys had better luck in purchasing rune packages than I did. With my got one usable rune. And you're like, no, I didn't even need to see the whole video. Now I know that's just don't want to buy any rune packages. All I get is crap. Alright guys, I'll see you as always in the next video.